Hey guys, today I am sharing with you fragrances that I picked up this month, October. Last month I made a video where I talked about the fragrances that I wore the most throughout September, and I fully intended to do that this month, but I got a lot of new perfumes and I ended up wearing the new ones the most. So I spent at least half my month testing out new fragrances. So I don't really have like scents that I wore the most this month. Well, except all these new ones. So I wanted to share them with you because I didn't want to not have a video for you. I have some purchased fragrances and some swapped fragrances. I did 2 big swaps with friends and I got a lot of nice new bottles, and so I'll start with my purchased bottles. I have been slowly dipping my toe into niche perfumes, and one of the houses that I have been interested in exploring is US Rte. This is one of 3 fragrances that I picked up from this house this month. This is Tuberose 2 Virginal. They have 3 tuberose fragrances, I believe. I'm sure they have other fragrances with tuberose, but I think these 3 were meant to sort of showcase the note. And if you saw my video about my newest obsession, tuberose is my newest obsession. So I saw the notes were like tuberose and cherry, and I had to try it. So far, I don't really know how I feel about it. I like it, but I haven't really gotten to know the fragrance yet. It's a little more complex than I'm used to, or than a lot of the fragrances that I own. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like this also is meant for warm weather, which might be my problem. It's cold here, so we'll see. But I got a giant bottle. I don't know what was going through my head. I should know better, but my other 2 are smaller bottles. So this fragrance is 1889 Moulin Rouge. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't smell this. I can sort of smell some cosmetic powder like half an hour in, but the first half hour smells like I sprayed vegetable oil on my hand. It is so bizarre. And a friend of mine was visiting me when I first tested this fragrance, and he was saying that he smelled whiskey and cinnamon and rose, and I had not even read the notes to him yet, and he is not like a fragrance guy. So I feel like I'm missing out on something extraordinary. Although some people say they smell cosmetic powder, so I don't know if I'm just anosmic to something, but I'm sure it's delicious for anyone who can actually smell it. This is going to a friend of mine. She loves this fragrance, and so I will be moving this on to her house. My last US Rte fragrance is 1890 La Dame de Pique, which means the Queen of Spades. This is a Tchaikovsky opera, and the reason that I got this was not based on the notes. It was based on a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very descriptive review on Fragrantica. And I was so curious about how this smelled based on that review. I think I'll just link it below because I love when people can tell stories like that with fragrance, or when they describe what a fragrance is evoking for them. I just love that. I expected this to be really heavy and loud, and it's not. It is soft and subtle and warm and sensual. I think that the review that I read is pretty spot on. It's subtly sexy. I don't know if this is really my type of fragrance, but I do plan on wearing it. I think this will work better in cold weather. And so I'm excited to try it out as the weather continues to cool down. My next 2 fragrances are from the Maison Lancome line. I already own 4 of these, and at this point, I feel like I need to own the rest of them. I just adore the bottles, and the first 4 that I bought, I love. So I sort of took a step out of my comfort zone with the next two. The first one I'll show you is Orange Bigarade. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, I hope I'm not like shining this in your eyes. And this is orange and tea, and I really wasn't sure how I would feel about this because I have to be in the mood for super fruity fragrances, but I really like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I believe it's also orange blossom, which I love, and I can't remember what else is in this, but it's really good. It's a lot lighter than the other 4 fragrances that I own. It's a little bit softer, closer to the skin, and definitely juicy and fruity. But the tea note is nice. Like, I feel like I would drink something that tasted like this smells. And the bottle's really cute. My original 4 have a gold cap, and this has a white cap. I have no idea if this is like a line within the line or what, but my second Maison Lancome is Santal Kardamon. This is definitely not a me fragrance. I really like it, but I don't know if I will get a lot of wear out of this. So I think I'm going to give this to my husband because I think it will smell really good on him. This is sandalwood and cardamom. It's a spicy sandalwood scent. It's really deep. It's really heavy. It's really woody. I think these are marketed as unisex. To me, this smells a lot more masculine, particularly in comparison to like Parfait de Roses, Roses Berberanza, Jasmine Marzipan. Those to me smell decidedly feminine. This I think is much, much more masculine leaning, but I do like it. I'm just really interested to try it on my husband. My next purchase fragrance was a bottle of Scentsy from Giorgio Armani. I have been on the hunt for this fragrance ever since Ami Loves Perfume talked about it in her collection video, and I love almonds, and this is a predominantly almond fragrance. I had never tested it. It was a blind buy, and it was successful. I really like this. The first 20 minutes or so, I really wasn't sure. It just smelled like something I already owned, and I'm still trying to figure out what that is because I want to test them side by side. But after that like 20, 30 minute mark, it turned into something different. It smells so good, and it smells very unique. It didn't smell like that same recognizable fragrance anymore. And I really didn't spend that much money on this, so I'm happy to have it in my collection. I think the bottle's really nice. I would like to try this in warmer weather because I think this will work better in warmer weather. I think the cool weather kind of keeps it from really like fully blooming. So this fragrance I purchased from a friend. This is Love Chloe, and this is a discontinued cosmetics powder scent. I used to hate powder. Like, I used to hate powdery fragrances, and I still dislike really clean smelling powder fragrances. But if there's any sweetness, I really love them in the wintertime. I find them so cozy and comforting. And this is just delicious iris and powder, cosmetics powder. I haven't really given this a full dedicated wear. I've only tested it, but I'm happy to have it because I think in the really cold months, January, February, I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. This next fragrance is also discontinued, but a friend of mine alerted me to its being for sale. This is Vivienne Westwood's Boudoir, and this is hard to describe. It's like, it's floral and musky and like a little powdery, but I wouldn't call this a powdery fragrance. I don't know. Honestly, it reminds me of root beer, but not in the same way that like Hypnotic Poison does. It's kind of spicy. I think it's carnation. The carnation might be giving me that root beer vibe, but it smells really good and like a little sexy. And yeah, I really like this. So the friend of mine who told me that it was for sale actually gave me the sample of it from her bottle. And I told her how much I liked it, and I was hating that it was discontinued, but luckily I have friends that keep me up to date when they find fragrances that they know I'll love. So thank you, friend. And lastly, these are my swapped fragrances. I have 3 of them, and only one of them was not a blind swap, meaning I knew what it smelled like before I received it. And that is from Hermes. This is Twilly d'Hermes. I got a sample of this months ago, and it has tuberose in it. So I definitely loved it, but I never got around to buying a bottle. I'm not really sure why. The bottle is, I don't know how I feel about the bottle. I typically love bottles that are just ridiculous, over the top, too much. I typically love that, but this is not what I would really call over the top or even too much. It's just kind of silly. So I don't really know if I like love the bottle, but I do really enjoy the fragrance. And I'm happy to have it. Yeah, the tuberose is really good. I can't tell if it's the boudoir or if it's this giving me like more of a root beer vibe. I don't know if there's something stuck to my nose, but I really think this is going to be nice in the fall and winter. And since tuberose is my new obsession, I clearly have to own all of them. And of course, this next one is also a tuberose fragrance. It's from Mancera. It's Velvet Vanilla. One of my subscribers told me about this in my tuberose video comments and told me to try this, and I got a bottle. It's only got a little bit left, maybe 25 to 30 mils left, but that's okay because in my experience, Manceras are very strong. Yeah, this smells really good. It's like a really clean tuberose, and I'm just smelling it from the atomizer. I don't even know what to say about this fragrance yet because I just have not even tested it enough to be able to talk about it. But I do love the bottle. I think if I really like this, I feel like I'm going to go through this really quickly and I'll have to buy myself a new one. The last fragrance I have for you was also a blind swap, but it's from Guerlain, and so I had very high expectations and high hopes for this. This is Meteorite's Le Parfum. I believe there are 2 formulations of this fragrance. This is the newer one. And I can't even say I looked at the notes. I just kind of knew I would like it, and I do. It's kind of like a fruitier insolence, and I love insolence. I love the eau de toilette and the eau de parfum. This is, it doesn't smell like insolence. It's very powdery and cosmetic scent, like kind of cosmetics powdery. But there's like some fruit and some juice and some brightness to it. This one was like an instant I love you. From my testing, it doesn't seem to last that long, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but I still need to do like a full dedicated wear. I've only tested this one, but it's so pretty, and I'm happy to have it either way. Those are the fragrances that I acquired this month. I hope you liked this video. I know you were expecting my most worn for October, so I hope this is an okay substitution. If you got any new bottles in this month, I would love to hear down below what you got. Or if you just want to tell me the fragrances that you wore the most, that's okay too. I will see you in my next video.